Montreal's CFL franchises have a long history of inviting notorious American football players, former NFLers, to join their ranks. Let's talk about Chad Johnson. He's been there, he's played one game. What's the story with the former Ocho Cinco?
The former Ocho Cinco, that's right. He looks like he's gonna, have a presence on this team. He's starting as the wide side wideout, which is sort of like the last guy in the offensive formation of the Alouettes. But you get the feeling that they're just kind of, working his way through the offense. And I think that in maybe 5 or 6 weeks' time, he's going to have more of a presence than he has now. Had caught a couple of passes in a loss last week at Calgary. Wasn't a major factor, but you get the feeling that this guy he's certainly got the speed and he's certainly got the route running ability. Now, whether or not can he keep it all together and make a contribution?
Okay, but despite being a caricature at times during his NFL career, he's not a gimmick. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, in fact, it almost seems like the Alouettes are going quite against the grain. I mean, rather than making a big marketing spectacle out of them, they're just trying to say, okay, be on, make a contribution, and you'll just fit in. I think there's probably more of a fascination outside the football world or outside the Montreal Alouettes as there is in it, because you know what? For the first little while, according to his head coach Tom Higgins and Jim Pop, the general manager, he's been a model citizen.
LU, last week when we talked, we spoke of Khalif Mitchell, his return to the Lions and its importance. But through one game, Khalif Mitchell is not the story with the Lions defense, but a guy named Ronnie Yell is, and of course, Ronnie is going to be matched up against Johnson this week.
And that's the matchup that is kind of intriguing. You have a 6-time Pro Bowler in Chad Johnson against a guy in Ronnie Yell, who's the Lions' wide side cornerback and the starter of all of one professional game in the regular season. So you really do have a contrast there. That's a match to watch because it's intriguing just for those thoughts alone. But the Lions defense had a pretty strong game last week against Edmonton, but couldn't close the deal because they just couldn't get the offensive support from Kevin Glenn and company.
All right, let's talk about Kevin Glenn. This is a guy you told us, starting in place of Travis Lulay, perfectly capable of going to the Grey Cup game with the BC Lions. But he had a funny first game, threw 4 interceptions, including at least one that he would want back.
Well, yeah, funny, I guess, is one way to describe it. When you throw 4 picks, there's nothing funny about it at all. And Kevin Glenn was the first after the game against Edmonton to sort of wear it. He was the guy that says it was on him. I think of any of the throws that he made, the one that came back to haunt the Lions was in the third quarter when they were up by 3 points and Kevin Glenn wanted more, went to it, tried to make a touchdown in the back of the end zone and was instead intercepted. That turned eventually into Edmonton points. The Lions gave up 14 points off of turnovers. You can't win in this league with 4 picks. Kevin Glenn knows that. But what we want to find out in game as to whether or not he has the leadership capabilities and the strength himself to come back.
LU was the Lions, 4 picks, and we kind of wonder in that situation where he threw that interception in the red zone. Does that point to maybe the offense not being diversified enough?
You want to have it both ways. I mean, you want to see your quarterback take shots at certain times, and if you think even to the fourth quarter when the Lions were still hanging in there, Kevin Glenn did take his shots. But Glenn himself said after the game, you know what, I should have thrown, I just should have run the ball, taken the field goal, go up by 6 points. But it does sort of make you wonder, no Manny Arsenault, no Marco Iannuzzi. Where are the points going to come? Iannuzzi and Arsenault not scheduled to play again against the Alouettes.
But now Montreal as a team might be a little bit dysfunctional, LU, compared to the Lions. During their training camp, they didn't wait long before firing their offensive coordinator. And your colleague from Montreal Gazette, Herb Zurkowsky, mentioned to you that this might be the worst Alouettes team that he's seen since 1997. That's a long run of prominence in the CFL?
Well, it's a long run, and it also is coinciding with the absence of some very good players. No longer does Anthony Calvillo reside here, but he didn't play here for the most part last year. No Mike Pringle, no Ben Cahoon. I mean, really, who do you hang your franchise around right now? And maybe that explains why Chad Johnson has a chance. But you know what? To say that this is the worst Montreal team since they came back from Baltimore, that is indeed saying something. But it is only the second game of the year. Come on, let's. I think we got to give them a little bit more chance than that.
Folks, check out provincesports.com Friday for the full coverage leading into the game between the Lions and the Alouettes. And of course, 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, Lowell will host his regular pregame live chat also at provincesports.com. Thanks for joining us, LU.
My pleasure.